Hello and welcome back to the Humbrol YouTube channel. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Humbrol Maskol. Maskol is a liquid latex masking agent that takes the form of a viscous purple liquid and comes in a 28ml bottle. Humbrol Maskol is safe to use with Humbrol acrylic paints, provided it's been allowed to cure for the correct amount of time. Maskol is also safe to use with the Humbrol enamel range. When painting over Humbrol Maskol, both the airbrush and brush painting techniques are safe to use. As with any of our products, it's highly recommended that you test first on a piece of scrap before applying to your finished model. Due to its high ammonia content, Maskol should not be used with models which have been coated with Humbrol Clear. When using Humbrol Maskol, brushes can be cleaned with ordinary tap water while the Maskol is still wet. If it dries, a stronger thinner such as cellulose thinners will need to be used. Let's take a look now at how Humbrol Maskol actually works. By applying it to the surface of a model which has been painted with a base colour, this initial coat of paint is protected from any further layers which are applied over the top of it. In the case of this King Tiger, the dark yellow base coat is now protected from the further coats of green and brown which will be applied to the surface of this model. As you can see here, the Maskol has dried to a clear film, and that means the model is now ready to paint with the subsequent layers. An olive green is now being sprayed over the top. Those areas which aren't masked with the Humbrol Maskol are now susceptible to being painted over, whereas the areas underneath the layer of film are protected and will remain in their original dark yellow colour. We're going to apply a further layer of Maskol, this time encroaching further into that painted green area, and then apply a red-brown coat over the top to form the final part of this three-tone camouflage scheme. The dark yellow and green paint that we've already applied is safely protected under the layers of Maskol, so we can concentrate on getting a nice even layer of paint rather than worrying about trying to keep the spray pattern tight. Once the paint has fully cured, it's now time to remove the Humbrol Maskol and reveal the neat hard-edged camouflage scheme that lies preserved underneath all of that dark red paint. As the latex peels away, you'll see just how sharp an edge we're left with, even when using the airbrush, and all that remains is to brush away any loose flakes with a stiff bristled paintbrush. The end result is a very crisp camouflage scheme which was quick and easy to apply thanks to subsequent layers of Humbrol Maskol. Another great use for this versatile liquid mask is to complement masking tape when protecting aircraft canopies, particularly in those awkward shapes and curves. Once the main body of the canopy is taped off, Maskol can be used to quickly fill in the gaps without the need to cut small fiddly strips of tape and try to coax them into position. With the whole area protected in this fashion, all you need to worry about now is keeping the paint on the canopy's frame and not getting any overspray on the inside of those clear parts. Once that paint has dried completely, the masking tape and Maskol combination is peeled away to reveal an intact transparency and a nice neat edge on that canopy's frame. For the final section of this video, we're going to be using a small piece of scouring pad and Humbrol Maskol to produce some really nice chipping effects. This model part has been heavily rusted using Humbrol matte coat and weathering powders, using the same technique you can find elsewhere on our channel on the video Weathering Rolling Stock. By using a scouring pad to apply the Maskol, we not only get this nicely fragmented chipping pattern, but should it start to repeat itself and look a little bit structured, we can also give the scourer a little scrunch and change the shape of it completely. This helps to keep the chipping completely random. By using a little masking tape as well, we can also harden the edges of the chipping effect to accentuate panel details. Once the masking film is dry, we can then airbrush over the top with a nice light grey acrylic in this case to provide a lot of contrast. Once the paint has been allowed to dry fully, we can take those small areas of Maskol off and reveal the rust colours underneath. Using a small piece of putty adhesive such as white tack, we can then rub the surface of the model to pick off the Maskol. Enough of the Maskol is starting to come off now to give you an idea of how this random chipping effect can be used to give a nice realistic finish to any metal parts of models you may wish to weather. Chips this small and precise would be very difficult to replicate with a fine brush, and in this instance we have now got the added advantage of having an acrylic paint over the top of an enamel based weathering layer. Using a little Humbrol enamel thinners, we can now bring these weathering powders back to life and start to tie these two effects together. The enamel thinners will interact with the matte coat holding the weathering powders onto the surface of the model, enabling us to drag them down over the top of the acrylic paint layer. This gives a very authentic seeping rust finish that looks just like the real thing, and the best part about it is it's completely in your control, so you can be as heavy or as subtle as you wish to be. Once it's finished, simply leave it to dry and it will be completely permanent. Now that you've seen some of the various uses for Humbrol Maskol, we hope that it can help you to get a better finish on your models in the future. We'd like to thank you all for your continued support here at the Humbrol YouTube channel, and we hope that you keep checking back regularly for more videos. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.